Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Shraddha's Physics. Here we are continuing our lecture with the quantum mechanics of the core 11. Today we will see the time independence of condition of normalization and orthogonality. Now let us start our topic. That is, we are going to prove the normalization and the orthogonality condition of wave functions are independent of time. That is, suppose we will consider a wave function that is psi I. We can write the normalization condition, that is integration over psi I star into, here psi I is the function of x and t naught, into psi I the conjugate psi I x comma t naught whole into, this is the function of x and t naught into dx. This is equal to, here t naught means initial time is suppose t naught, and suppose after some time t, the function like the wave function psi I star x and t, here after time t, this is the t into psi I x and t into dt. So this is equal to, for the normalization condition, this value equal to 1, this dt that is equal to, this total value will be equal to 1. This is the normalization condition. This is the normalization condition. Now we will write for the orthogonality property. This is the integration over psi I star, this is the initial condition, function of x and t naught into psi j, another wave function psi j x comma t naught into dx, that is equal to the integration over psi I star, the function of x and t into the function psi is the psi j, another function x comma t after time t into dt. Here t naught is the initial time, suppose t naught, and after some interval, that is suppose t, because there is after the passage of time, this is we are considering t, and its value dt, that is equal to, this total value equal to 0. So this is the orthogonal property. Now we will prove these two conditions, that is the initial time and the final time, the wave function, the normalization and the orthogonality condition of the wave function, they are independent of time, whether at time t naught or whether at time t, the value will always be equal to 1 for the normalization condition, and for the orthogonal condition, initial for the any time t naught and for any time t, this value will always be equal to 0. Now we are going to prove this. Let us consider psi 1 and psi 2 be two well-behaved eigenfunctions satisfying the Schrodinger equation, suppose. So the time dependent one-dimensional Schrodinger equation is, we can write the Schrodinger equation, that is minus h square square divided by 2m dou square psi by dou x square plus v psi, the potential, that is equal to I h cot dou psi by dou t. This I h cot dou psi by dou t, it is actually the energy this total energy value. This minus h cot square by 2m dou square psi by dou s square, it represents the kinetic energy and v represents the potential energy. So the sum of the kinetic energy and the potential energy, it will give the total energy. This is the representation of the Schrodinger equation. You have to just remember these things. Now we can write this Schrodinger equation for the two individual functions, that is psi I and psi j. Now for the function psi I and psi j, you can write, for the function psi I and psi j, the Schrodinger equation can be written as minus h square square divided by 2m into dou square psi I divided by dou x square plus v psi I, that is equal to I h cot into dou psi I by dou t. This is just suppose equation 1. Now similarly for the wave function psi j, minus h square square divided by 2m into dou square psi j divided by, this is psi j, divided by dou x square plus V psi j, that is equal to IH cut dou psi j by dou t. So this is the representation of the Schrodinger equation in terms of the, or for the wave function psi I and psi j. So for the complex conjugate of this equation 1, for the complex conjugate of equation 1, complex conjugate of the equation 1, the complex conjugate of equation 1, you can write this simply putting in place of psi, that is psi star, and the iota will becomes minus iota. So this is equal to minus h cut square by 2m, this is the real one, into dou square psi I becomes psi I star divided by dou x square plus v psi I star, and that is equal to minus psi h cut into dou psi I star divided by dou t. This is suppose equation 3. Now if I will multiply psi I star in equation 2 and psi j in equation 3, now let me write. Now multiplying equation 2 by psi I star and equation 3 by psi j. Now this will becomes minus h cut square divided by 2m. In equation 2 we are multiplying psi I star. So here in this equation 2, here we are multiplying. So this will becomes minus h cut square divided by 2m psi I star into dou square psi j divided by dou x square plus v psi I star into psi j, that is equal to IH cut psi I star into dou psi j divided by dou t. This is suppose equation 4. So here we have just multiplied equation 2 with the psi I star. Now we will multiply psi j with the equation 3. So multiplying psi j in equation 3, this will be minus h cut square divided by 2m into psi j dou square psi I star divided by dou x square plus v psi I star into psi j, that is equal to minus IH cut psi j into dou psi I star, dou psi I into star divided dou psi I star divided by dou t. So in this equation 3 we have just multiplied psi j. This is our equation 5. Now what we will do? Now if I will subtract this equation 5 from equation 4, so subtracting equation 5 from equation 4, so now this will becomes, here I will take common minus h cut square by 2m. So this will be minus h cut square by 2m whole into, the first term is psi I star dou square psi j divided by dou s square minus, this will be psi j into dou square psi star dou square psi I star divided by dou x square. This is for the first term, and that is equal to, you can see here, if I subtract this term, so this plus sign will becomes here the minus. So here this minus becomes plus and this plus sign becomes minus, and here also becomes plus. So here this b psi I star psi j and b psi I star psi j, this term will, one is plus and one is with the negative sign, so they will get cancelled. So this will becomes equal to IH cut whole into psi I star dou psi j divided by dou t. This will becomes plus psi j dou psi I star divided by dou t. Now if I will divide this IH cut term here, if I will divide here this IH cut term here, I will, if I will cancel this term here and here I will divide 1 by IH cut. So this will be 1 H cut is get cancelled with this H cut, and because of this iota term present in here, or simply let me write just like this, minus H cut divided by 2Im into this much. Now let me write the expression again here. So this will be, here you can see first, let us see the right hand term I am writing psi I star dou psi dou psi j, this is j, okay, dou psi j divided by dou t plus psi j dou psi I star by dou t. So let me write, this will be psi I star into dou psi j divided by dou t plus psi j into dou psi I star divided by dou t, and this is equal to, the term is like minus H cut divided by 2Im on the left hand side. This is, you can see, minus H cut divided by 2Im psi I star dou square psi j by dou s square minus psi j dou square psi I star divided by dou s square. This will become minus H cut by 2Im whole into, this will be psi I star, here I will write psi I star into dou square psi j divided by dou s square minus psi j into dou square psi I star divided by dou x square. And now you can see this left hand side term, this is nothing but dou by dou t of, this is dou by dou t of psi I star into psi j, because if we will take the first derivative of the psi j, then this is simply psi I star is taken constant outside, psi I star into dou psi j by dou t plus again this psi j into dou psi I star divided by dou t. So this simply can be written like this. Now this will becomes equal to minus H cut divided by 2Im into the same expression, that is, if I will take common dou by dou x, this will be dou by dou x of psi I star dou square psi j divided by dou x minus, sorry, dou psi by, this is dou psi j by dou x, because we have taken common dou by dou x minus psi j dou psi I star divided by dou x. Now if I will integrate this between the limits minus infinite to plus infinite, just try to write it in your own copy. Integrating between the limits minus infinite to plus infinite, I will directly write from minus infinite to the plus infinite. Here I am just integrating. So this will be dou by dou t of psi I star into psi j whole into, with respect to x we are integrating dx, that is equal to minus H cut divided by 2Im integration over the limit minus infinite to plus infinite dou by dou x of psi I star into dou psi j divided by dou x minus psi j into dou psi I star divided by dou x whole into dx, this whole into dx, or this can be written as, this is equal to, or dou by dou t of integration over minus infinite to plus infinite psi I star into psi j dx, that is equal to minus h cot by 2ym. Now you can see here this dou x and here is also dx. So this get cancelled and d of this much of integration, this if I write the integration of dx, that is equal to x, integration over dy, that is equal to y. Similarly integration d of this much, this is suppose this total term is suppose x, so integration of dx is x. So simply the integration of this term will be, so simply I can write the integration of this term will be this bracketed term, that is psi I star into dou psi j divided by dou x minus psi j dou psi I divided by dou x. This is I think dou psi I star, yes, this is dou psi I star, dou psi I star divided by dou x, and integration over the limit minus infinite to plus infinite. So here the integration value varies from minus infinite to plus infinite. But in general we know, in general when this x value tends to plus or minus infinite, so in that case this psi value as well as dou psi by dou x, it goes to 0. When x has the value up to the negative minus infinite to plus infinite, so in that condition the wave function goes to 0, or we can say that dou psi by dou x also goes to 0, or that is this right hand side term that goes to 0, right hand side term goes to 0, because this is dou psi by dou x here and this is also dou psi I star by dou x, or this is psi j is also present, so this term goes to 0. So here I can write this left hand side term equal to 0, or we can write dou by dou t of integration minus infinite to plus infinite psi I star into psi j dx, that is equal to 0. When the derivative of some term equal to 0, it means that that term is constant, or you can write this implies minus infinite to plus infinite psi I star into psi j dx, this is equal to constant, this is equal to constant. It is constant means with respect to the time, it is time respect, so it is constant in time, it is constant with respect to the time. Or you can write simply it as, here we have calculated the integration over minus infinite to plus infinite psi I star into psi j dx, that is equal to constant. So this can be written as, or this can be written as the integration over minus infinite to plus infinite psi I star into psi j dx, that is equal to, when this I equal to j, we can write the value is 1. When I equal to j, let me write 1 if I equal to j, and its value will be 0 when I is not equal to j, just like Dirac delta property. Okay, so here this 1 means it is the normalization condition, this is the normalization condition, and here this 0 represents the orthogonality condition, this is the orthogonality condition, So what we have proved that the normalization and the orthogonality condition, it remains invariant with the passage of time. So the normalization and the orthogonality conditions remains invariant with the passage of time. Invariant with the passage of time. Passage of time. So this is the proof. That is, first of all, we have considered there are two functions, that is psi1 and psi2, or psi I. Here I am writing. Let me write this. Let me then just correct this. This is suppose psi I and psi j. This is suppose psi I and psi j, and this is suppose psi j. Okay, so here we have considered the two functions psi I and psi j. So for the time dependent equation, that is the time dependent Schrodinger equation, so we have written the expression for the psi I and psi j. And after that we have taken the complex conjugate of this equation 1, that is the in terms of psi I, the equation written, the Schrodinger equation written. So we have written the complex conjugate of that expression. Now we have multiplied this psi I star in the equation 2, that is expressed in the form of the psi j, that is the Schrodinger equation, and we have multiplied psi j in the equation 3. And after that, if we will subtract these two, then we will get the final result, and after some process, that is after integrating, we will conclude at this point. And when I will take, that is in general, when we will consider the position of the particle, that is x, it may lies from the minus infinite to plus infinite, it position may vary. So in that condition, the wave function can be considered to be 0, or this dou psi by dou s can be considered, it tends to 0. So if we will consider that this psi wave function and this dou psi by dou s tends to 0, in that condition this left hand side term is 0, or we can say that this dou by dou t of this psi I star psi j dx integration 0 means the integration value, that is psi I star into psi j dx, that is constant in time, and from that expression, when this I equal to j, the value will be equal to 1, that is called the normalization condition. And when this I is not equal to j, then this value goes to 0. This is the orthogonality condition. This happens because if I consider about the Dirac delta function, so in that Dirac delta function, when these two values are equal, I and j, then this value is 1, and when I is not equal to j, in that condition the value will goes to 0. So this is hence this is the proof of the normalization and orthogonalization condition. It doesn't depend on the time, or it is invariant with the passage of time, or we can say that it is independent with the time. So this is all about the orthogonal and normalization condition. This is all for today. If you have any doubt, can ask me in the comment section. Thank you all.